says we are live. We're going to wait just a sec to make sure we can confirm that. Okay.
Okay.
You see it on your end?
I am refreshing your page now, so I'm going to go to your... Oh, I do see it. Wow.
Perfect. Here we are. Hello, everybody. Let me know if you have any issues with the audio or the video. It looks like we are good. I can see it on my end. First of all, hello, everybody. It has been a while since I have seen you guys. I haven't seen you guys since I think like October 16th or something. For those of you who don't know where I've been, just really quick, I took my grandmother in for hospice over the time. This is why I've just been uploading meditations, and she passed on the 28th. So I was a hospice caretaker for about 8 days. And then I was in charge of the service of planning the cremation, cleaning out her house, like all the things I was a part of. So I have definitely taken some time off of my channel and business to deal with all of that and to grieve. And I'm still definitely moving through everything, but we are getting back into it. And I am starting to feel a little bit more myself. And I have a very amazing friend and client here, Aaron from HIYERalignment. You guys are probably familiar with him if you have been on this channel. So first, really what we're talking about today is re-beginning your dream practice, because he's re-beginning his dream practice again. It's normal to fall off and to get caught up in other things, and I'm there as well, especially after these past couple months. I am definitely ready to start getting back into my dream practice. So before we get into that topic, Aaron, why don't you just introduce yourself, let the people know kind of what you do and all that good stuff.
Okay, well, thank you. Well, first I want to say thank you for having me, Haylee. I've been looking forward to this for quite a while. For those of you who may not be familiar with me, my name is Aaron. I am a certified life coach, mindfulness and meditation practitioner, and mindset guru. I do have a YouTube. We are getting that up and going, but you can really find me on Instagram. So I am a life coach. I help people in the 7 areas of life: health and fitness, relationships, career, finance, personal development, spirituality, and recreation. And I do a lot of work similar to what Haylee does. I teach people what I call energy work tools in order to assist them with their personal development. And one of those tools is lucid dreaming. I love lucid dreaming. I love dream work. And even since I found Haylee, I think we've been working together for going on 2 years now, maybe.
2 years about, yeah.
It's been a while, and I'm so appreciative for you because you've helped me expand my own practice and learn more and dive deeper. So thank you so much. But that is a little bit about me and what I do.
I just love you, Aaron. And we have been definitely talking for a while, about 2 years, guys. And I feel like you've helped me in so many ways with my practice as well. And it's been amazing to meet with you and kind of hold each other accountable and discover new ways to do our practices. And so I think it's just been a really amazing time working with you and getting to know you and what you do. And for any of you who saw that video where I received a beautiful, amazing package from someone on my channel, that was Aaron from HIYERalignment, and he sells the most beautiful products. I don't have the links up now because we're going live from Zoom, but I will put all of those in the description after. So if you want to follow his channel, check out his Instagram, check out his shop, or any of the things that he does. How often do you go live on your Instagram again?
On Instagram, I go live 3 times a week. So I have personal development workshops Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern. So you all are free to pop in. We're going to be heading into a series called the Learning Myself Workshop Series. It's going to be 5 sessions, and it's going to just be on the foundations of personal development in relation to self-care. So how to set up an effective self-care practice, how to engage in your hobbies, your interests, your passions, creating new goals for transformation and all of that good stuff. So we're going to be diving deep into that over this week and next week.
And I cannot recommend Aaron enough. And what he does, like, I'll always pop into his lives and see what he's up to. And it's always like everyone's in deep meditation, or he's really, really like helping people find a way out of their head and into their heart. And that's what I love about what you do. So thank you again for being here with me. I'm very, very excited for our chat today. And let me just shout out the people here that are showing up. Greg, what is up? Shelly, hello. Raphael, Kevin, how is everyone doing? Love yourself first. Thank you guys for all joining, and hello to everybody on the replay as well. I know it's definitely been a long time since we have seen each other, but we will be seeing each other a lot more, especially at January is when we're getting back in the full swing of things. So we're going to be kind of doing lives here and there, and I'm going to be trying to get as caught up on content as I can until January, but January is when you should expect like everything to be pretty much back in the swing of things. So to start this all off, we are talking about re-beginning your dream practice. And the reason why we called it that is because I feel like that's a constant, not a constant, but a frequent thing in your dream practice, because it's like, I feel like you almost need to recharge and rest, but at the same time, sometimes the universe tells you when you need to rest as well, and you'll have that dry spell and you'll just think that your subconscious is against you and you need to try harder and you need to do more techniques, when really you probably need to do the opposite. It's like when me and Aaron had a call, I can't remember when it was, a few calls ago anyways, and you felt so exhausted, right, from your practice. Like you were trying to balance that and so many different things. And so we're like, well, maybe you just need a break, even though we don't want to take one. Maybe it's what we need. And then wasn't it that night you had a couple lucid dreams, or was it the night after? Or
yeah, it was like as soon as I started releasing and taking a little bit of a break, it's very interesting that I started to have more lucid dreams. And I think you're a fire sign as well. You're a Leo?
I'm a Leo, yeah.
Okay, yeah, and I'm an Aries, and we have this let's go, go, go thing about
Very
us.
fixed
And
energy.
exactly. And whenever I have this experience where I'm like, okay, well, maybe I need to take a break, especially from dream work, which is really like my personal practice, is what I do personally. I always have this resistance to doing that. Like I always don't want to take a break. And I'm the type where I get to the point where the universe will make me take a break, so
Yep.
that has
Me too.
definitely happened in life recently. And like you said, it's happened in my personal practice many times before. But I think that the more you kind of go through this dry spell or this area where you either are taking a break or have to take a break, you get a little bit better at navigating, the getting out and getting back in. But at least for me, it's always still a touchy subject.
That's for sure how it is for me too. And it's like I get really upset when I'm not even like dreaming. Like if I take a break from practicing techniques and lucid dreaming, I at least want to have dream recall. And so when I have dry spells from dreams in general, like I just wake up and I'm just like not mad, but I'm like a little, just not a little bummed out, pretty bummed out. That's one of the highlights of my day. And also like when I wake up from an amazing lucid dream, it just has this energy that just resides like within me, like all day, sometimes several days. And it's easy to have a hunger to get there, but we have to remember that it's not just about lucid dreaming. It's about what it teaches us. It's about what the process teaches us. It's about what we learn with the time that we're recharging or taking a break. It's the entire lifestyle and philosophy of the practice. It's not just getting the lucid dreams themselves. And so me and you have kind of like our own list that we wrote down, and I love how similar and different they are at the same time. So we're really going to be able to cover a lot of content here. We're going to cover as much as we can in the time that we have. But my first one is simply start simple. Like that's the first thing that I think is important to remember when you're getting back into the practice, because for me personally, because I'm a fire sun, or I'm a Leo sun and moon. So I have so like how I take action and subconsciously how I think is also very Leonic as well. And so I have to try to balance that out by knowing it's okay to take a break. It's okay to not overwhelm myself. And just because I work harder and I put more on my plate doesn't mean I'm going to yield better results. And I think that's something I really had to learn in my dream practice. So starting simple is the most important thing, I think. And that means just practicing writing your dreams down, like just starting to get back to the basics of what got you inspired with lucid dreaming in the first place. I still have lucid dreaming for beginner books that I read because I think it's really good to touch up on the basics. And I love to do that often because even some courses, I think last year I enrolled in one of Charlie Morley's courses, and it was like a beginner's lucid dreaming course, but it was a 30-day journey where I was being held accountable for 30 days. There was a new class every single day with homework. And even I was learning new stuff in there because of the history I was learning within lucid dreaming. And there was just so much that kind of re-inspired me. And so I think that's one really amazing thing about starting, not starting from the beginning, but getting into the information you previously got into that kind of started you on your path. I found that that is extra valuable, especially to come at things with a clear mind. And I know that you have some specific things on your list when it comes to starting simple. So what ones do you have there that you think would be important just getting into your dream practice again?
Yeah. So just like you said, I think that dream recall is really an important piece. Like, if you don't have dream recall, it's very difficult to work with your dreams, non-lucid dreams or lucid dreams. And I think that when you kind of get out of practice, like you said, even experienced lucid dreamers, we have like a dip in dream recall sometimes. So for me, I always will re-begin with making sure that I'm keeping my dream journal. Because for me, that stimulates a lot of dream recall. So I definitely make sure that I do that. Yeah.
That's very important. And I feel like a lot of people, there's like this, I wouldn't say stigma with dream journal, but this like assumption that like if you're not dreaming, there's no use for a dream journal. I've talked to many people like, well, I'm not dreaming anyway, so why do I need to practice writing my dreams down? And I think the most important thing to think is like, the dream journal is not just for your dreams, it's a memory building tool that actually helps you recall more over time. And it's something that you can use regardless of where your recall is at. You just kind of want to report where you're at, honestly, every single day in your dream journal. And the rest kind of works on its own. Even if you don't even try to remember your dreams, if you just wake up, write down the date and the time and say like no dream recall or something really simple, even that is enough to really start your dream recall. As far as what I've noticed as well, assuming that you're not smoking a lot of cannabis or using substances that kind of suppress your REM, but even just the dream journal is enough, right? To start your dream recall again.
Definitely. And I love what you said about even if you're not having dreams, because I think it's about this intention and the energy that we bring to the practice that kind of gets that dream recall going as well. And just by intending to write in your dream journal, even if you wake up in the morning and you don't have anything to write, I think that lets the brain, the unconscious know, hey, this is really important for them and they're really putting their energy into this area. So let's go ahead and help them out by increasing the dream recall. So in the beginning, just like you said, even if you don't have any dreams, writing something down like, I don't remember anything, but I intend to remember my dreams the next night, or I just only see black. Even that is just like prompting the brain to say, okay, like, let's ramp things up.
Anything, write anything in your dream journal. It could be literally like no RC, like no recall, whatever, like anything. Just writing anything will tell the brain, oh, this is actually a priority. You're obviously taking time to study the result of what happened when you woke up. And I think that helps the brain learn because the brain can only focus on a few things at the same time. The brain is going to prioritize what you subconsciously prioritize. And if you don't really think about dreams too much and you forget to write in your dream journal in the morning, obviously dreams are not really on the forefront of your mind. And so I think if you are someone that forgets to dream journal, which I've heard from people, set an alarm when you wake up and have like the title in your alarm to be to write your dreams down, or it doesn't have to take hardly any time. But if lucid dreaming is important enough to you, you will see the time as something that's not being wasted. I think that's another thing is some people don't want to put a lot of energy into the practice, but it's kind of an energy exchange, like as much energy as you give it, that's kind of what you're going to get out of it. So dream recall is the same way. And I tell people like, it really doesn't take a lot to start remembering your dreams, give it about like a week. I say of around a week. Of course, it's different for everybody, but with consistent dream recall practices in the morning, and then as you're going to bed, just setting the intention, and sometimes that is enough. So dream journaling, I hope you got, I talk about this all the time. I have talked about this forever, since the beginning of my channel. And what's another thing that you think is either as important or close to importance as dream journaling is, as far as starting practices?
Yeah, for dream recall, actually some things that come to my mind. So I'm a person, I love to work with herbs. So one herb that I really like to work with is mugwort.
Yes.
So, yeah, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people who are familiar with like herbs and dreaming have come across this before, but I'm drinking some mugwort now. I normally in the evenings, especially when I'm like getting back into my dream practice, as well as like deep in my dream practice, I always drink tea in the evenings, and I'll sprinkle some mugwort in there. And I find that it helps with the physical relaxation. Towards the end of the evening, I tend to have a lot of energy, but mugwort also helps with the vividness of your dreams. So for me, when I have mugwort tea in the evening, I'm more likely to have a vivid dream, or just like a more vivid dream. So it kind of increases my dream recall. And another activity, I will bring it back around later on if we have time, but I'm not sure how many people have heard of EFT. It stands for the emotional freedom technique, or also some people just call it tapping or EFT tapping. And if we have time, I'll do a little demonstration, but I love using EFT when I have trouble spots in my practice. So even if it's like dream recall, before I go to bed, I will do an EFT session, maybe really quick, 2 or 3 minutes, to say, you know, tonight I am going to have improved dream recall, or I'm going to remember my dreams. Or even, I'm pretty sure you've covered this in a lot of your videos too, when we wake up in the morning and we move the body, that will, you know, kind of impede the dream recall. You know, we're moving more into the waking state. So I may do a little EFT session before bed, like to reinforce, okay, when I wake up, I'm going to remember not to move. I'm going to, you know, lay still, lay in the position that I woke up in, and just kind of ask myself some questions. Who was I just with? What was I just seeing? What was I just experiencing? Or what was I just feeling? Like anything that can lead me back, you know, to kind of pick up those threads. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's so, and I would if we have time, I would definitely love for you to give a demonstration for that, because I think that a lot of people are in my audience are new to that. And guys, if you ever want to hear about, because you talk about it a lot in your workshops, right? I've seen
I love EFT. And I'm actually starting an EFT series on my YouTube. Actually, the first video came out today. So it's an intro video for EFT, just talking about the basics and giving the basic tapping routine. And then I'm going to do short videos after that, maybe like 4 to 5 minutes, and they will be EFT routines. So you'll be able to tap and talk along with me. I use EFT and also NLP, neuro linguistic programming. I use them together. So I'm starting this series where people will be able to learn about EFT and actually practice it.
I'm
so
excited. And what great timing that the intro for that came out today. That's
exactly
great. All right, guys, you have to go subscribe. Definitely check out the video, because I'm sure that we're going to have you back on as well. And maybe we can do a chat on that or something. Or
I would love to. That would be great, actually.
Because I still want to learn a lot about that. I have like a couple books on it, but I definitely do not know enough to teach it or even like do it consistently. So I would definitely love to see your take on it. And I'm definitely going to check out that video as well, because I definitely, anything that I can add to my practice, especially with that subconscious rewiring process to kind of get to where I want to get to in my practice, I think that's great. And also, as far the herbs, you were talking about the herbs, do you still have herbs on your shop and teas and stuff? Do you still have those?
So I don't have the teas up right now, but I feel like I already know where you're going. I have a dream tea, and I do use my dream tea during my dream practice, and I've been meaning to put it up on my website, but I have not yet. So this conversation is gonna like give me a good kick in the butt to get that up there.
Girl loves tea. I'm just saying. I'm gonna be the first one there, dude. Oh my gosh, the tea that he has sent me is so amazing, and you guys have to try it. Definitely keep me updated on when that's on there, so I can let everybody know. Yeah, I'm a huge tea drinker, and I think there's a lot of amazing herbs that we can just pop into some tea. Like blue lotus is another one. I don't know if you've used a lot of blue lotus. Oh, you did have a tea with blue lotus in there, right?
Yeah, the dream tea has blue lotus, and it has a combination of different herbs like mugwort, the blue lotus. One of my favorite dream herbs is called Haylee Did. It's also called Mexican dream herb. It tastes horrible, but I'm telling you all, it's very bitter, but it's just make 1 cup and just go ahead and just knock it down. And it's so worth it.
I think I told you the night that I tried it, I was like, yeah, it was a little bitter, but I actually got lucid that night. I did.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It wasn't like a full like level 4 lucid dream, but I did spark lucidity, and I was lucid for at least a few moments, which in the lucid dream world is actually a long time. You know, so and I was just dream journaling. That was still kind of on one of my breaks I was having. Every once in a while I take like a week break from practice just to kind of keep things fresh, so I don't kind of get as many dry spells and I don't know how to work with them, if that makes sense. And during my like break where I wasn't doing anything besides writing my dreams down is when I tried that tea, and I got lucid that night. So definitely excited for you guys to try that. And it's so pretty too, the tea. It's in my video. If you guys haven't seen it, I did a video on the stuff that Erin sent me, but you guys will have to go watch it. Anyways, I love the products on there, and I can't wait to see the tea on there. Another thing, I don't know, did you have any other things on your paper as far as like starting simple kind of like practices? Okay.
So, I mean, just the basics, like I'm pretty sure that you cover. So I always start out with dream journaling to increase my dream recall. But then I just go back into, going through my dreams and finding dream signs, because I find that, you know, even after I've taken a break, then I want to get familiar with my dreams now that I'm coming back. So what am I dreaming about, so that I can, you know, also go into doing my reality checks throughout the day. So I like to do my reality checks in tandem with, you know, my current dream sign. So that's kind of the basics. I feel like that gets me going, and I'll do this even over a week to 2 weeks, like maybe even the first week, I'm only focusing on dream recall and dream journaling. And then that weekend, I will say, okay, let me go back through, look at my common dream signs, and then that'll prepare me for the upcoming week where I'm like, okay, this week I'm going to do reality checks based upon, you know, what I learned about my practice from doing my dream journaling last week. So for me, those are the 3 like basics: dream recall and dream journaling, dream signs, and then going into my reality checks.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do as well. And I call them like the 3 Ds, which is like dream signs, dream journal, you know, all that. Those are the 3 most important things.
Yes.
Those are the most 3, like, if you're going to take anything away from even like beginning your lucid dreaming journey for the first time, it's those 3 things for sure. And that's actually one of mine, is revisiting journal content. Even if you're not actively dreaming, I think it's important to revisit your journal and read through it like a book. Like, I read my dream journal like a normal book. I will get my tea, I'll, you know, light an incense, and I will get my dream journal and read through it like a normal book and just be laughing and be like, oh my gosh, I remember this. And it totally just triggers all of these memories. And as you guys know, like when you read through a dream, like in your journal, you can see it like it just happened, right? It like saves all of that memory, so you can like relive it as you're reading it. And so I like to treat my dream journal as like a normal book that I can like freshen up on, and it really shows me also how my consciousness has progressed throughout the years, like the content that I was dreaming about 5 years ago compared to the content I'm dreaming about now. What's the difference in the settings in my dream? What are the emotional differences in my dreams? I think it's really amazing to study your dream journal, whether it's dreams you're just having and you want to use those to get lucid, or dreams from any time in your dream journal that you just want to use to re-inspire you or to start your dream recall again. I think it's very important to read through your dream journal. And it's not just for writing your dream down and then forgetting about it. This is something you want to be your friend. You want to use what's in your journal. You want to underline things and go back to pages and really study it. And I think that the relationship with your dream journal is extremely important. When you say, Erin, it's not just for writing your dreams down and forgetting about it. You want to use it consistently and go back to information, even like at the beginning of your dream journal, I think that this practice is about like experimenting. It's kind of like your own science and art at the same time. That's how I like to think about it.
Yes, I completely agree. And I think I saw one of your videos where you have 2 dream journals, like one for dream planning. And so I actually implemented that. So sometimes I have a dream journal just for dream planning, and sometimes I don't. So when I don't, I will take a section of my current dream journal, like 10 pages in the beginning or 10 pages in the end. And this will be the section that I put like my dream goals in, or I will notate just the date and the title of any significant dream or any practices that I'm currently working on. So in my dream journal, typically I will have like the date, the title and emotions. But what I also do, what I found helpful is between, like, I'll put the date at the top and then I'll skip a few lines and then that's what I'll put title and emotions. But in this space, I will write down significant things that I've done before bed. Like if I did meditation, if I did EFT, or honestly, even if I took some medication or if I took some dream herbs or anything like that, because just like you said, developing this relationship with your practice, I like to go back through my dream journal and read, okay, on the days that I did become lucid, was there anything that I did beforehand that kind of helped me? And sometimes I'll even write a goal. Like if my goal is just to do dream recall, then I'll write goal, dream recall. Or maybe my goal is tonight, I want to practice wake back to bed or practice mild or wild. And I'll write that goal. So anything that I've done like right before bed or like my practices throughout the day, I'll write those down, because I find that sometimes, you get lucid and sometimes you don't. And then I want to go back and really figure out, what did I do to help myself, or what did I do to hurt myself? What did I do that didn't, work out too well for me? So I think keeping the dream journal, it has many, many purposes, just like you said.
Totally. And it's even what you ate is important to write down. Like I do that too. I'll write down like what time I went to bed, if I meditated before bed, like if I was like pretty active during the day, like just to kind of figure out what the specific recipe is for lucidity. And that's going to change as your practice changes and as we change and get older. But it's really helpful to keep a track, almost like a chart. You could probably create a really efficient looking chart where you can just check off, if I meditated last night, if I did this and this and this. But all the little details are important. You definitely don't want to skip over all of the little details, because those are actually more important than the techniques and like inducing sleep paralysis. Like if you implement these habitual routines into your practice, and you really take time on the little things, then that's going to make the biggest difference. I personally think that induction techniques are just extra. I believe those should be added on to your practice that you've already built. And then if you're wanting to induce experiences at will, then that's where techniques in particular come handy. But for most people, they want to create a habit of awareness and a habit of this practice. And so that creates that requires a habit of awareness, and not just awareness within your dreams or reality checks, but awareness of what you're doing throughout the day, what you're spending your time doing, because you're dreaming through your subconscious mind, and everything that we do is stored in our subconscious mind, everything we see or experience. So it's really a lifestyle type of practice. It doesn't just have to do with sleeping, right? That's just a little piece of it. So one thing I do have is resparking your interest in dreaming. Are there certain ways that you respark your like inspiration to get dreaming, because sometimes it's easy to fall out of. I know we've talked about lucid dream goals, and sometimes that can feel stale. How do you kind of get out of that energy to like get excited and like kind of childlike about dreaming again?
You know, I will focus on, so I try to keep a list of things that are important to me, but sometimes those things that are important, like you said, they don't always give you that like spark. So I also keep a list of things, just like fun things, or maybe I always go back to flying. Flying is something I do in the lucid dream state just for fun. So sometimes it could be something as simple as like, oh, I miss flying. But honestly, EFT. I go, so when I find that I'm not, I don't have that motivation or that inspiration, I will use EFT to kind of get that energy going for me. So that's why I say I really use that. I use that practice a lot for many obstacles. Like even if I feel down that I haven't had a lucid dream, or I did not remember to do a practice, or I did not fully engage with my practice, or just like this, you know, I kind of feel like I want to start dreaming again, but maybe there are some things going on in my life that's kind of, you know, reorienting my energy or my focus. And I just find that I'm not all the way there. Like I'm kind of there, like I kind of want to do lucid dreaming in my dream practice, but there are other things that are kind of, you know, just taking up some of my energy. So I will use EFT for this. But I think outside of that, making a list of those goals and just really doing other things, like if you journal, like journaling or scripting about, you know, what's important to you right now in your life. And what I love about your channel is that you don't just teach how to have a lucid dream, you teach how to use lucid dreaming for these specific purposes. And I think that that's what's important. If you have a purpose that you want to use dream work or lucid dreaming for, that is going to give you major motivation and inspiration.
Absolutely. And like even just hearing you say all of that just makes my heart feel so warm, because it's like this practice has seriously completely changed my life. And I think it was because of, you know, the health issues that I had to suffer through that led me here. That just that one thing, it's like, wow, if this can do this, then what else can this do? And so I think it's beautiful how it kind of led into all of that, and how we can, and I think that's part of my why, is that we can use lucid dreaming for so many different things. Like, oh my gosh, it would take me a million years to express how important I feel like this is to me, because I haven't found any limits with this, any. And I think it is a practice that kind of gives us our own power back, because it's like us testing our own limits and us figuring out what is possible. And so that's kind of been one of my, even though it's kind of hard to explain into words, that's been one of my whys for lucid dreaming, just how much there is to explore and uncover about myself and the reality that I'm a part of right now. And one of the things that has always inspired me my entire life is Alice in Wonderland. I'm obsessed with Alice in Wonderland, like obsessed. I watch the, I think it's 1953 when it was created, the original Alice. I watch that at least once every couple weeks. I'm playing, actually, I don't know if you've heard of the video game Alice, but I'm playing that right now. And it's kind of like, I've taken this last 2-ish months to kind of just engage in my play and like childlike imagination, because that's what fuels my dreaming practice the most. So watching Alice in Wonderland, playing that video game, like, and just thinking about that world, that's how I see reality. It's a very hard thing for me to explain. I literally feel like a child that's trapped in a woman's body because I see reality like Wonderland. Like I really do believe everything is possible, and my gateway to all of that possibility is through dreaming is my gateway to the world of possibility. And I think that I can bring those things I learned from my Wonderland and bring them to my reality. And it's just, that's kind of how I see it, is just a very playful kind of childlike way. I think that's what's kept my energy so invested. And even though like I do fall out of it, like these past couple months, you know, the closest person, the one that was basically a mother to me my entire life, passed, and that caused me to completely shut out everything. I wasn't responding to anybody. I wasn't practicing my dreams. Like, and I'm still getting back to it. This is the most energy I've had these past 2 months. And I think another part of the practice is having grace with yourself and knowing that it's okay to rest.
Yes, that part.
I'm so hard on myself. You know, I wake up with slightly vague dream recall, and I'm like, you should have did better, Haylee. Like, this is not good. And it's we would never say that these things to anybody else. And I think that, and it's like, I have to think about the situation. My grandmother just passed away. I was a hospice caretaker. I was doing all of these things. It's okay, Haylee. I have to remind myself, it's okay. So what would you say is the best way that you kind of find grace for yourself when you like kind of feel upset or guilty that you're not doing what you think you should be doing in your practice? Is there a specific?
Two things that come to my mind. The first one is an affirmation that I created for myself. So I'm pretty sure a lot of us are familiar with affirmations. And I will literally tell myself, my effort is my success. So just like you said at the beginning, it's not always, I mean, generally we do engage in dream work and lucid dreaming practices for this end goal of having a lucid dream. But I think when you become more advanced, then like you said, it's a lifestyle, you know, it's living lucidly. So it's not always about, did I have a lucid dream or not? Sometimes, even like you explained, liminal dreaming. Sometimes it's exploring the liminal state. Sometimes it's trying new techniques. Sometimes it's just getting more involved in your dream work practice and not necessarily, did I have a lucid dream or not? I love the quote that the master loves to practice, you know, and the master has failed more times than the beginner has tried. So when I feel down on myself about my dream work practice, I constantly remind myself, I'm a master of dream work. I practice all the time. I love practicing, and my effort is my success. The more you give that effort, it's like the more you're going to engage in those dream work practices, whatever practices call to you. And the more you engage in those practices, eventually you're going to get lucid. So if you're just focusing on engaging with my practice, no matter what happens, like kind of releasing that expectation and just going into it, then I think that that definitely helps. So shifting this perspective to, you know, my effort is my success. Even if I sometimes, like, we wake up in the middle of the night and we intend to do wake back to bed and we kind of fall asleep before we do our mild or our wild or our combination, and we don't quite get it there. And so we can wake up feeling like, oh, I'm so upset that, you know, I wasted that time, but it wasn't wasted. You gave an effort, and your effort is your success. So I'm so glad.
You need to write that down, put that on the wall.
Yes, it's literally an affirmation that I say to myself all the time. And because it was just because of this exact situation that I would do my dream practices and I will wake up and I would not have had a lucid dream and I would be very upset. And it brings me to the second thing that comes to my mind. And I practice Tibetan Buddhism. And I love dream yoga. And there are 4 preliminary practices, but one of them is releasing, grasping, and aversion. And I take this as really in the waking state and in the dream state. When we become very serious, we're more likely to be non-lucid. Like we see that in the daytime when we have like emotionally charged experiences, or someone has cut you off, or you get in an argument with someone, or something doesn't go your way, and you get wrapped up in your emotions and you're no longer being mindful. You're no longer practicing lucidity in the waking state. And the same thing happens in our dreams, you know, in our dreams when we're asleep. When we get so wrapped up in the dream phenomena and we're that close to the dream and we take it as very serious, we tend to not be lucid. So whenever I actually find myself becoming very, very serious or very harsh and very critical, that too for me is a dream sign. It signals to me, I'm dreaming right now. I need to wake up and do a reality check, you know? So when I get in this place of where I'm feeling discouraged, where I'm feeling upset or frustrated or being hard on myself, I kind of allow that to also fuel my practice. And I'm like, okay, let me breathe. And even right in that moment, I may do a reality check to see, am I dreaming, you know? But I think those two things, kind of releasing the grasping onto the phenomena and needing it to be something and taking everything so serious, and then also giving myself that grace by constantly reminding myself with that spoken affirmation, my effort is my success.
I love that affirmation. I'm definitely going to be using that more. And you are right. Like anytime we are in like really high emotion, like we can't see through our intuitive lens. So it's very hard to be kind of in the moment, kind of know what's happening. That's why like logic is even low when emotions are high. That's why people will say, sorry, I was like that. I couldn't think, I was so angry. It's because when our emotions are so high, a lot of the world is kind of blurred out. And so lucid dreaming really is a lifestyle practice, because what we do throughout the day really does fuel what happens in our dreams, or how we are in our dreams anyways. And that's so cool that I try to do that as well. Like any strong emotion, I do a reality check. Even if it's anger, if it's sadness, if it's happiness, excitement, I try to get in the habit of doing a reality check, because that shows that you're being aware a lot throughout the day, because you're aware of the shifts in your emotions and when that means to do a reality check. And I remember I started doing that. And because I used to have really bad anxiety as well. So one of the things I would do is anytime I started to feel anxiety come on, I would do a reality check. And then I would have these crazy dreams where like Chance was lost at sea or something. And like, and I had to like go find him. And I remember stopping, be like, wait, let me just do a reality check really quick. And that showed me right then and there that, any shifts in our emotions or our thoughts, we can create a habit of checking if we're dreaming. It doesn't have to be something that feels like a chore. You're just tuning into what reality you're in. That's also kind of similar to meditation as well. You don't have to make it like a chore or this like mechanical process, but just the awareness of these changes will spark random awareness within the dream, spontaneous awareness. And so eventually I feel like everyone thinks, oh, it's a lot of effort to lucid dream. It's a lot of effort to get lucid. That's because you're learning, you're teaching your brain how to make this part of its normal function. And eventually I don't even really need reality checks that much anymore. Like I have spontaneous lucidity, but if I want consistency in my practice, then I also need to have consistency throughout the day. So I love that you brought all that up, and being aware of how you're feeling throughout the day, because I feel like people are still on autopilot throughout the day. And then right before bed, they're trying to practice lucid dreaming when really every hour of the day counts for something.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Let's see. And then you kind of covered the mindset for re-beginning. That is one that I wrote down. I think it's really important because I can like kind of get frustrated sometimes. And that definitely keeps me farther from having experiences. And even in sleep paralysis, what's the key to having sleep, like being able to transition from your physical body to the astral? For me, it's letting go, that energetic release of attachment to what's happening. I feel like the fear can paralyze us, the sensations can paralyze us, or overthinking. And I feel like just letting go of that feeling is enough to kind of cause an experience. So maybe we can use that same thing with lucid dreaming. Instead of, okay, I'm going to meditate right now, and if I don't have an experience, like, then I'm going to be pissed. This is all wasted. But really, maybe we're looking at it from a more narrow point of view. I mean, maybe we have some non-lucid dreams because we were meant to just listen or observe what was being shown to us. And if we had that control of lucidity, maybe we wouldn't have got the message that we needed. So I think that's also kind of a take on Tibetan practices, is you will always be shown what you're ready for. Right.
Exactly.
And you won't get lucid if the subconscious doesn't want you there. It's kind of like a friendly alliance that you build with yourself. And so if you don't have grace with yourself, or you're calling yourself names because you didn't get lucid, I don't really think that's going to help us create that connection. Yeah, with the
Mhm.
subconscious. Did you have any other points on there regarding Tibetan practices or dream yoga that we haven't covered yet?
Yeah, so I can explain the preliminaries. These are things that I do in my everyday life. So it relates to one thing that is important for me is having a dream practice that nurtures my life. Because
Yes.
even in situations like this, where, you know, for a few months I haven't been practicing dream work, I find that if I have practices that are like combination, like I use it for dream work, but I also use it for other things, once again, to nurture my life. When I fall off balance, my practice kind of calls to me. You know,
Mm,
it like calls back to me and it's like beckoning, like, hey, come back. You need some balance in your life.
yes.
Um, so one of them is the four preliminaries from Tibetan Buddhism. I wonder, I have the book right here. The Tibetan Yogas of Dream and Sleep by Tenzin Wangyal Rinpoche. I'll hold it up. So if someone
Yes.
wants to screenshot it or something, you can get this. And it has the section in here on it. I actually took a retreat workshop with Tenzin, and it was great. So I will briefly run through the four preliminaries of dream yoga. And there are things that you're going to do in the waking state. And I think that it will definitely help people out. So the first one is called changing karmic traces. So this deals with how we see and relate to experience. So we take and once again, this is from the Tibetan perspective, you know.
Mm,
But we take that there is an outside world, like there's an external world. According to Tibetan Buddhism, there is no external world. I always remember the phrase, all phenomena arises within the space of awareness. So anything you can see, hear, taste, touch, smell, our thoughts, everything that creates our reality arises within awareness. And there really isn't an out there. And it kind of relates to even what science tells us. Like if we take, you know, a red rose, you know, we take a red rose and we look at the rose, and where is the red? Is the red out there or is the red somewhere else? We take the red as being out there and we grasp onto it. We make it real. But even science tells us that there is no red there. Red is the brain's interpretation of that information. So even like a dog, when it sees that rose, does a dog see a red rose, or a bumblebee? Does the bumblebee see a red rose? So
mm,
where is the red? So according to Tibetan Buddhism, there is no out there. There is no out there, so there's no in here either, because they're both the same. It's just all of the phenomena arises within the space of the awareness. So it kind of relates to when we are doing our reality checks and we're looking around, we're saying, this is a dream. That's what they're saying. All of this, everything that I see, everything that I hear, everything that I touch, taste, smell, it's all a dream. It's here one moment, it's illusory, and then poof, it's gone the next moment. So changing karmic traces is just the foundation, how we can start to just really take a look around and think, this is a dream. All of this experience is a dream. The second one is called releasing, grasping, and aversion. And we kind of talked about that. And this is kind of in the aftermath. So if we're saying all of this phenomena is a dream, but then maybe we get in an argument with someone and once again, we get carried away by our emotions. We grasp onto this fleeting experience, onto this dreamlike experience, and we take it as solid, as real, as lasting, and all of a sudden we're non-lucid. So
mm,
releasing, grasping, and aversion means that after that experience is over, maybe in the moment we didn't recognize it as a dream, we take a step back and we say, wow, I was arguing with this person. I felt those emotions, I felt those sensations, but even now, this person is not in my physical presence.
mm.
The emotions, I may feel them, but in 5 minutes, in 10 minutes, they're going to be gone. They're not for forever. So I'm going to release the grasping onto that experience. And once again, this too is a dream. The third one is, and I'll run through them. I'm just trying to run through them really quickly.
You're good.
So the third one is called strengthening the intentions. And this is a practice that we can do before bed. So I really enjoyed this practice because to me, it's kind of like dream journaling, but it's for the waking state. So you'll sit down and you'll kind of like meditate, like do a little meditation where you're just sitting in this stillness, in this silence, and this spaciousness. Then you allow all of the experiences that have happened to you throughout the day to come back over you. So if you've been practicing 1 and 2, changing karmic traces and releasing grasping and aversion, it's kind of like triggering you to do your reality checks throughout the day in different emotionally upsetting experiences, or even when you're not having those types of emotional upheavals, even when you're just experiencing whatever, you're constantly reminding yourself, this is a dream, this is a dream. And you're labeling that in your mind, dream, dream, dream. So hopefully when you go to sleep, you're doing the same thing, dream, and you become lucid. But there may be times where we didn't catch it. So you get another chance before you go to bed. So you allow, maybe once again, keep that same example. You got in an argument with someone, but you didn't change karmic traces. You didn't release the grasping and aversion. So now you allow the emotions to come back over you before bed. You allow the memory to come back over you, and then you experience it. But then you say, this was a dream. This was a dream. It was all a dream. And then strengthening the attentions is you do that for maybe 5-10 minutes for different experiences that you didn't label as a dream throughout the day. You say, I resolve to recognize the dream state tonight as I have recognized it throughout the day. So I'm strengthening my intentions. I'm using the waking state, kind of like the dream journaling. I'm revisiting all of my dreams from the day, and I'm recalling them and I'm relabeling them. And then I'll say, I promise I'm going to do this tonight in the dream state. I'm going to have a lucid dream tonight because I'm going to do this same thing. And then the fourth preliminary is called cultivating joy in memory. So it's when you wake up in the morning, did I have a lucid dream? If you did, yay. I cultivate that joy. I celebrate that I had a lucid dream. I recognize the dream state for what it is. If not, then we say, it's okay. Once again, extending that grace to ourselves. It's okay. I did not recognize the dream state last night, but now I am inspired to do my reality checks, to release my grasping and aversion, to do my changing the karmic traces, to do all of the things that I normally do for my dream work practice. Now I am inspired to do that throughout the day because tonight is that night and I'm going to have a lucid dream tonight. So from Tibetan Buddhism, those are the four preliminary practices of dream yoga.
I think those are so important for really anybody getting into dream work, like especially that awareness, because you're not leaving any gaps. You're marrying the two realities together because there really isn't much of a difference. I mean, even situations that have passed in this reality, eventually all we have is a memory of our dreams, of our past experiences, even of our future experiences. So everything really is a dream. It's just we're experiencing them in different states. So if you learn to embody that knowingness, then you'll naturally embody that knowingness in the dream. And it's important to note that these practices, lucid dreaming is a byproduct of these practices, of this lifestyle. It's something that occurs naturally with this understanding, with this awareness, and with this kind of embodiment of, these teachings. So I definitely, for anyone who has not read that book, I think we have it in my description. If not, I'll leave a link to that as well when I put your information in, because I think that would be a really amazing book to re-spark interest, like we've talked about with dreams, learn something new, and maybe learn a different approach than what you're used to with lucid dreaming. And I think that's very important to understand tons of different cultures and practices and how something like this has aided many different religions or cultures or people around the world. And I think that helps us understand the importance of lucid dreaming, and that it's not just something to do for fun, but I truly believe it can change everybody's life in some way.
Mhm,
I truly,
mhm.
truly, truly believe that. So thank you for sharing those, because that was like a really beautiful explanation of those. And that even inspired me to read that book again and
Thank you.
to dive back into those practices. So I know we have just a little bit longer before we have to head off. And so I just want to run through our list to see if there's anything that we have missed. We did kind of cover this already. I do have activating the wild imagination on my list. That's one of
Mhm,
my favorite things, because I believe that everything that I see or that I dream or that I imagine is possible. And that is true, because quantum physics shows us that we cannot create our own ideas. We tap into them because energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only change, shape, shift, and move. So when we have these ideas of these crazy, peculiar things that might not be in our reality, if we can think about those things, those do exist. And I think that's also inspired me to imagine bigger, which has allowed me to dream bigger in the actual like dreaming sense, like REM dreaming sense. The more I imagine, the more I'm able to experience in my dreams. And that pushes me towards my practice even more. So again, guys, Alice in Wonderland is like how I see the world. That's where I go a lot of the time in my dreams. And it's interesting because I really do feel like it is a wonderland of sorts. It's like it kind of looks like
mhm,
that, but every single thing has knowledge. Like there are still mushrooms and random animals in these dreams, and you will just go up to something. And I'm sure this is like this in any lucid dream, but it's like,
mhm,
and of course it's whatever you believe it is, but this wonderland to me is like a knowledge playground of whatever I am interested in about me, about reality. Like it's just lucid dreaming is just a big place for me to learn. And because of my Capricorn rising, I have this huge need to learn all the time. I'm either
mhm,
reading, I'm watching documentaries, I'm studying something, or I'm doing some sort of research in my dreams. There's always something I have
mhm,
to
mhm,
learn. And I think that's what's amazing about dreaming is you will never get to the end of dreaming, like the knowledge that you will find, and
mhm,
it's like
mhm,
infinite, it's expansive, and it will, there's always something to learn and discover. So
mhm,
those
mhm.
practices, guys, if you have not heard of those practices, I just want to mention those because we're talking about activating the wild imagination. And there's a lot of cool practices within dream yoga and collapsing the dreams and building them up and
Mhm,
really
mhm.
learning how to interact with the dream in interesting ways. So it's, if you guys are interested in reading some of those practices, I would definitely do that. What's the name of the book again? Tibetan
Yeah,
Yogas of
it's
Dream and
called the
Sleep?
Tibetan Yogas of Dream and Sleep. It's
Perfect.
great. And then there's another book, just what you said. It is by Andrew Holacek, and
Dream
I believe
yoga.
it's called, yeah, Dream Yoga.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in there, he has the 10 stages of Dream Yoga. So exactly what you're alluding to, if anybody wants to learn, I don't think he goes into depth on how to actually practice the different things other than making you aware of them and asking you to try them out for yourself.
Yeah.
But I think there's a list of the 10 stages of dream yoga in there, like to manipulate the dreams and collapse the dreams and make something singular multiply and make something that's many one, and to
Mm-hmm.
shift your awareness and do different things like that. So I think even going back to a question that you asked earlier, about generating inspiration and goals, even that would be a great thing. Like if you don't particularly know what you want to do or you don't have a strong pull, maybe visiting a list like that of the 10 stages of the dream yoga would, say, I've never tried that before. That would be interesting to
Yeah.
experience the dream state.
Yeah. And I'm really excited to get back to the content I was making because I'm going to be doing like a weekly lucid dreaming challenge series. I think I put one
Ooh.
out already, but then everything happened and I haven't been able to catch up on it. But it's going to be just testing different things in your dreaming environment. And we're going to be doing little challenges like creating fire in the middle of your palm and just seeing
Mm.
how much energy we can actually
Yes.
use in
Yes.
the
I
dream
love
state. Yeah, and we really push the limits of what's possible in the lucid dream state. And really, even those impossible things that we do in the dream, it really
that.
does have like a psychological and mental effect on us when we wake
Mhm.
up because our brain cannot tell the difference between a dream or waking reality. If we do something that our human brain perceives as impossible or difficult, in the lucid dream, we're going to carry that same feeling of accomplishment and achievement in waking life. And that's going to actually aid you in new things that you try in lucid dreaming. So it really is also like a practice ground for how we show up in reality as well. Yeah. Another thing I had is connecting with the dream community. So we are coming back, but for those of you who are not a part of like the Telegram, we have a Telegram group, we have a Discord, and we have a Facebook group as well. And then do you have a group? I thought you were going to make a group for dreaming in particular. Have you done that?
Yeah,
yet?
I do have a group on Facebook for dreaming. I think it's called the Dream Higher Group, and higher spelled HIYER. Yeah, so I just started it. So your dream group is like on and jumping. It is jumping in there.
I haven't been as present. It's been a little bit dead, but I want to start doing classes in there. So maybe we can team up and do some classes in my group.
Yeah,
maybe we'll do something in yours.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that would be so fun. Okay, guys, we have some things that are playing because we'll put the links to his group as well for that, because I wanted to mention that when we're talking about dream community. I remember you mentioning that. And I think that also helps keep you accountable. Like if you were just practicing lucid dreaming and didn't talk to anybody about it, I feel like you would not be as inspired. You wouldn't have much motivation, and I feel like there wouldn't be anyone to kind of keep you accountable or help you out of the kind of mental traps we put ourselves in when it comes to the dream practice. So I think connecting with a community where you can share your experiences, because we've always been told, oh, it's not important, it's just a dream, it's okay, go back to sleep, it's just a dream. We've been subconsciously trained that these are just dreams and they don't really matter. And I think you need to find the complete opposite kind of community where it's like, please tell me what you're dreaming about. Please let's share and grow. And, that I really do think that that's what this practice is about. So the last thing I have, and then you can touch on anything left that you have on there, is the hunger and commitment of this practice. You have to be hungry for it. And it's not just to get lucid, but you have to have a strong why. And I know that you mentioned, Aaron, that sometimes our why isn't enough. Sometimes we kind of fall out of that. And I'm guilty of that too. So I create 5 strong whys, just in case one is not enough. I have 4 more to help keep me inspired or accountable.
I'm gonna actually do that tonight.
And you really
journaling tonight.
Yeah, that's what's really helped me. Yeah, that's the last thing I have is journaling too, which I'm going to do after this, or shortly after this anyways, about like my dream planning and stuff. I usually do that before bed. But the hunger and commitment part, I think, is extremely important. And 5 whys will help keep you a little bit more inspired, because just in case that one why wasn't enough, okay, well, here's my next reason, here's my other reason. And you want to take time to think about these, because you want these to be 5 strong whys, ones that can almost hold their own with each one. And then just the commitment. I feel like if you want the subconscious and your dream space to be committed to you, that you have to be committed to your dream space as well, and learning what you need to learn and practicing what you need to practice in order to create that connection. I think that we need to take that ego out of this practice and try to be the student as much as possible, and not try to demand or control the subconscious, but listen to the subconscious and be open to what it's trying to show you. Even if that means a non-lucid dream and you don't get lucid, I think we need to show gratitude to the subconscious that it showed us anything at all, that it showed up for us still to deliver a message and to provide something for us, even if it wasn't what we wanted, maybe it's what we needed. And I think switching that kind of mindset in the practice and having that hunger and that commitment to go wherever the practice takes you without having that control will really, really aid you in remaining playful. And remember, it's an energy exchange. As much as you put into it, I believe that's what you're going to get back. So I know you are a very committed person. You are very disciplined. Like when I think of you, Aaron, I think of like structure, discipline. You're doing everything like in your business. There's so many different things you do, but you just seem like you have a flow to everything. So is there something that helps keep you so disciplined, not even just in dreaming, but in your life in general?
Honestly, a planner. I am a structure planner person. I have a planner and I write down my weekly goals in my planner. it's just like one of those monthly, weekly ones, you know. So I try to organize it on the weekend. Like, what do I need to do throughout the week? And even at the top, I'll have like my priorities, you know, say dream journaling is one of my priorities. So I'll write dream journaling and I'll make 5 little check boxes. So I'm like, okay, we need to dream journal 5 times this week. So every morning when I wake up, you know, after I've dream journaled, or, you know, I'll check that box to make sure I've done that. So I am a big list maker, check box person, you know. That really keeps me on track.
I need to reel it in a little, I believe. I'm not sure what to do. I definitely love my notebooks. I have probably 15, 16 notebooks over here. I had to get notebook organizers. I have 3 notebook organizers for my desk alone because I have so many. I literally have a notebook for every single little topic, whether it's my personal practices, business. And so that's definitely something that helps keep me sane, but also drives me a little crazy at the same time. So one thing I don't have is an actual planner. So maybe I should get one of those so I can help stay a little bit more structured.
I love planners. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to send you a Amazon link for the planner that I got this year. I guess it's time to order one for next year.
Perfect. I literally wrote down 2022 planner when you said that.
Exactly.
So yeah, if you could send me that link, I would love that.
Yes, I will. Yeah. And it's a beautiful planner. So I think, you know, it makes me want to use it. Even like my dream journal, I try to choose journals that I actually want to write in, and pens. I have like crystal pens, so pens that I will want to use. So I'm like, ooh, let's use this.
I trust you. Your aesthetic is beautiful. I trust you. I will get whatever you send me through the link. So that is pretty much all I have for mine. Is there anything else on your list that you wanted to touch on that maybe we haven't covered?
We already kind of covered it, but
Perfect.
I will reiterate it, and then I'll also show everybody EFT because someone did ask in the chat.
Awesome.
So one thing that I would say, and I alluded to this earlier, was having a dream practice that nurtures me. So for me, I practice things like meditation. I practice shamatha meditation, and it also goes hand in hand with dream work and lucid dreaming. So a technique that I find very accessible is called mindfulness of breathing. And I think a lot of people are familiar with mindfulness of breathing, even if they don't know the technique. There are actually 3 different mindfulness of breathing techniques that I know, but the one where you focus on the sensations of your breath passing in and out of your nose, this is called the Theravada method. There's also the Dzogchen method, where you're more resting in awareness and just observing the breath peripherally. And then there's also the Burmese method, where you're focusing on the sensations of the abdomen moving up and down. But I do practice this meditation, you know, mindfulness meditation, as a part of my dream practice, but it's a part of my everyday, what I do. I also practice what's called the 9 breaths of purification. It's a practice, it's a breath work practice, a pranayama practice you can do before bed. And it also helps with dream work and lucid dreaming. EFT, I love that. Dream journaling. And then, like I explained, the preliminaries of dream yoga. But of course, your practice or anyone's practice doesn't have to look like mine. I just suggest that you choose practices that call to you and that nurture you, and even developing what I call this intimate relationship with your dreams. So even like dream journaling, so you are familiar with the content of your dreams, but also like catching yourself during those REM stages of sleep. Or sometimes I'll use a reality check or like a prospective memory statement. The next time I blank, I will do a reality check. So sometimes before bed, the next time I wake up, I will do a reality check. So even if I'm having those micro awakenings during the night, after a while in the beginning, you know, when we're practicing like wake back to bed, we may be using alarms to catch ourselves in that REM stage of sleep. But I think that it's important to kind of get a feel for it. So when you naturally wake up out of that REM stage of sleep, out of that sleep cycle, you catch yourself. And then little by little, you know, okay, I'm waking up is I've naturally woken up now. I can write down my dream and I can go ahead and engage in my wake back to bed or my mild or my wild or whatever I'm going to do. So I really think that the more intimately connected you are with your dreams and your dream practice, it kind of, your dream practice goes deeper.
Yeah. Even for sleep, like learning
Mhm,
how you sleep, like what
mhm.
time you wake up, what time you naturally go to bed, like, and that's even part of like sleep yoga. For those of you who haven't heard of sleep yoga, it's basically becoming conscious in like deep delta wave sleep as well. It's like
Mhm,
becoming conscious in all stages of your sleep. And that's not
mhm,
something you want to like start with. That's like
mhm,
more advanced type in practice, but you can definitely become conscious of when you leave your REM periods, when you go into deep
mhm,
sleep. And you don't, it's not like you think it is. You can even set like a mental alarm clock, and you'll be surprised at how efficient your brain actually is at waking you up if you
mhm,
just set the intention. So I think what you said is really important, and really getting to not only have a feel for your dreams, but how you sleep, and really
mhm.
getting familiar with that time that you spend asleep,
Yes,
because
yes,
not a lot
yes.
of people know about it. And I think that's really important when
Mhm,
trying to induce dreaming experiences as well. And of course, getting to know your subconscious and like how it
mhm,
works in the energy in your dreams. Just getting to know you is what this is
mhm,
about, I feel
mhm.
like.
Exactly, exactly. And even in the beginning, that's what I think a lot of the techniques are geared towards, like dream journaling, and once again, setting your alarms, recognizing when you're in what stages of sleep. A lot of these things are teaching you about you so that you can learn how to work with your dreams.
Yeah, that's really all it is. And Charlie Morley said that as well. Like lucid dreaming is really about becoming best friends with yourself. And I believe
Mhm,
that
mhm,
this reality is all about that as well, and learning more about you, and how to access these states, and kind of getting familiar with the unfamiliar. I think not a lot of people know about sleep, and it's different for everybody, but I've
mhm,
learned so much by just waking myself up throughout the night, or allowing me to just see the process of how I sleep naturally. And that's allowed me to create a more, like, a stronger connection with not only my dreams, but my subconscious in general. And especially when it comes to like asking for favors. I don't know if you ask for favors from your subconscious or not, but it's like,
I have to
okay,
try.
I'll do that. Yeah, it's kind of almost a way to manifest. There's this way of manifesting. I don't have the paper up on my wall right now, but it's basically like you make a request to the universe and you offer to give something in return. It's almost like an even energy exchange. It's
Oh,
like,
I like
okay,
that.
yeah, it's like, okay, if this is what I would like to receive, and in return, I will do this. I will serve
Mhm,
others in this way, or I will do this. And it actually it works. It works. I did this when it was when I was kind of struggling financially, and rent was due the next day, and I only had $200. And I
mhm,
told the universe, okay, I just need all of rent today, and I'll be able to do this for my friend. I owed my friend a favor, and they were moving, so I offered to
mhm,
go help that same day.
mhm.
Literally the next day, an hour before rent was due, the exact amount that I needed for rent showed up in my account because I said something
Wow,
random. Yeah.
yes, I
So I
love those types of experiences.
Right, that energy exchange. So I think we can try that with the subconscious as well. It's like I really do think that this experience is about learning, serving others, and creating your own happiness and liberation. So I think if we can almost
Mhm,
create these deals, or like these exchanges with our subconscious,
mhm.
whether it's for dreams or like things in waking life you want to manifest, I think that'd be really powerful. So you'll have to try that out and let me know
Yeah, I
if that could be
am.
one of your
I
challenges you
am.
do. Yeah. And so now I think we have enough time for the EFT for you to show
Yeah,
us
let's
that, and
do
then we should
it.
be good.
Let's
Perfect.
do it. So, what I always do is I'm trying to think. So I will actually do an EFT practice regarding getting back into your dreams. You're re-beginning your dream practice. So if everyone wants to tap along with me, what I always teach in my workshops, I'll teach the basic tapping routine. So there's the basic tapping routine. Then I do what's called a cycle down process. And this is where we speak more negatively. I call this getting to the root of it. Then, when we feel like, okay, that is what I am dealing with, I've spoken it aloud, and it will kind of come up. It'll kind of naturally come up. Then I cycle up, which is the reprogramming process, where I'll speak more positively and shift my mind. So basically what we're doing is we're tapping on points in the body. All of the points correspond with meridians. Meridians come from the traditional Chinese medicine system. Each meridian corresponds to an organ. Those organs hold energy. So we're literally knocking on the door of the body, getting that energy moving so that we can, like, you know, bring the situation up, and then we'll reprogram over the top of it. So we will go through the basic tapping points. I'll outline them. We'll do 2 or 3 rounds, and then I will just go into tapping and talking. So I will tap and talk longer than I normally would. So I always will talk, and I don't plan what I'm going to say. So I don't know. And I don't suggest anyone else plan what they're going to say. It's like a conversation you're going to have with yourself. So I'll talk, and then everyone can repeat after me. And I always say it in your own words. If I say something that doesn't resonate with you, switch it out with something that does, or say it how you would say it. That's the most important part.
Perfect.
So we always begin and end with the karate chop point. So I take this hand and I just tap right here on our karate chop point. This is where we're going to begin and end. So you'll notice that. So we'll begin here. We tap typically 7 to 10 times. Next, we're going to tap on the eyebrow point. So it's above the eyebrow, and there's a ridge here. So it's on the, so you should feel, that's where you're tapping right here. So we're tapping right here on the inner part of the upper eyebrow. That's next. Then we're going to tap on the outside of the eyes where you were just at. Yep, tap on the corners of the eyes. There you go. Then we're going to tap underneath the eyes. I know it's so tempting to close the eyes. You can close your eyes, but I advise when we're learning, keep your eyes open. And then after you know the points, you can feel free to close your eyes.
Good to know.
Then we'll tap under our nose next, under the nose. Yep, just like that. Perfect. Next, we're going to tap on the chin. So next, we're going to move to the collarbone points. Some people tap on these collarbone points. I tap a little bit below the collarbone towards my underarms. So there are some lymph nodes in this area. Some people call this a sensitive spot, and it doesn't have to be exact. So it's about the intention sometimes. So the same thing, extending grace to ourselves. So this is where we're tapping next. Next, we're going to tap under the arms on the ribs. So you can tap on the left side or the right side. They do have different meridians, but it's whatever you prefer. I typically tap on the left side. I see people tap on the left side. They tap on the right side. For ladies, this is where about your bra strap is going to hit. For the guys, this is going to be kind of where our floating ribs are going to begin. So you can tap on the left side. You can tap on the right side. You can tap both, whichever works out for you. We're going to then move to the wrist. Yep, we're tapping on the wrist next. Then we're going to tap on the top of the head. So let's go back through. We're not going to go back to the karate chop point yet because we end at the karate chop point. We begin and end there, but let's move through them one more time just so we get a little bit more familiar and a little bit quicker. So eyebrows, sides of the eyes, underneath the eyes, underneath the nose. Let's move to our chin, collarbone points, underneath the arms, wrist, top of the head. So we're going to go ahead and begin our NLP. So if I'll explain this part in the meantime, in between time, if everyone wants to just come to a state of stillness, and you might feel some tingling or the movement of the energy through the meridians. If you tap for a few more rounds, you'll definitely feel it. So when we do NLP, once again, we're beginning and ending at the karate chop point, and we always have a template statement. It's even though blank, I completely love and accept myself. This is how I start mine out. So I'll say, Even though I haven't been practicing lucid dreaming, I completely love and accept myself. This is us bringing it up. So this is us bringing it up. So I love your audience. I would say, can you pat your head and rub your tongue at the same time?
That's really what it is, isn't it?
Exactly. So I think that's a good template sentence for our topic. Even though I haven't been practicing lucid dreaming, I completely love and accept myself. So let's tap on our karate chop point and we'll say, even though I have not been practicing lucid dreaming, I completely love and accept myself. Even though I have not been practicing lucid dreaming, I completely love and accept myself. Even though I have not been practicing lucid dreaming, I completely love and accept myself. And let's begin our cycle down. Now I'm going to just speak. Eyebrows. I haven't been practicing lucid dreaming. And this practice is so important to me. And you all can, and I know you're tapping, but I'm leaving space so if people are watching and want to repeat, they can. I feel angry with myself. I'm so frustrated with myself because I don't see how I allowed something that was so important to me to slip away. Lucid dreaming and dream work is a big part of my life. And when I'm not practicing, in many ways, I feel lost. And it's literally been months. It's been months. My dream recall isn't where I want it to be. My lucidity is not where I want it to be. And just going back into everything seems so daunting. I hate that I'm in this place with my practice. And so maybe that's the root. Maybe you hit that root. I hate that I'm in this place with my practice. So then we'll cycle back up. But you know what? This strong negative emotion that I'm feeling lets me know that my practice is still important to me. This practice is a big part of my life. And even though I kind of stopped practicing, maybe I needed that. Maybe I needed that break. I mean, for real, I am a whole person. And there's always a lot going on in my life. So I'm going to give myself grace. I am a master of lucid dreaming. I am confident in my skills and my abilities. I know exactly what I need to do to re-begin my practice at any time. And even being in this space right now lets me know I'm already starting again. So tonight I'm setting this intention. Tonight I'm going to practice dream journaling. Dream journaling is easy for me. It's so easy. Dream journaling is harmonious to me in my life. It's so harmonious. Tonight, I'm going to practice wake back to bed. I know how to practice wake back to bed. I've done this so many times. And it's going to be so fun when I do this tonight. And I'm reminding myself right now, my effort is my success. I'm just going to give a little bit of effort tonight towards my dream practice, a little bit of dream journaling, a little bit of mild, a little bit of wake back to bed. You know, I got this, I got this. And now I actually feel so inspired to do my dreaming practice tonight. I am inspired to move forward in my dream journey practice. Then we come back to our karate chop point. And we'll say, and so it is, so it is, so it is. And then we'll shake. We'll shake our body. It seems crazy. We're shaking our body. If you all ever seen the antelope when they like, yes.
So it's primal, you know, you gotta.
Yeah, it's very primal. It's releasing the hormones and everything, the endorphins that have come up. And then I would advise, if you have water or tea or a liquid near you, go ahead and take a sip of water.
Mm.
So this is how I do EFT. This is how I would do EFT if I'm getting back in my practice. So you see, we started out with the basic tapping points. We spoke more negatively. We did that cycle down. When we hit that root, you know, I hate where I'm at in my practice right now. Then we kind of shifted that energy and we shifted those emotions and we were reprogramming those thoughts and those beliefs and those patterns of behavior. So I use this once again, if I've woken up from sleep and I haven't gotten lucid, I may say, even though I did not have a lucid dream last night, I completely love and accept myself. Or if I didn't have any dream recall, even though I did not remember any dreams last night, I completely love and accept myself. Or maybe if I fell asleep during the middle of my wake back to bed, even though I did not fully practice my wake back to bed, I completely love and accept myself. And I will go through this process. So I hope that you all enjoyed this.
I love you. That was amazing. Like my face hurts from smiling because I was like, yes, 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 yes. What the hell? Oh my gosh. So you were like, you were me right there. Like everything that I always think when I'm in that state, I really see how powerful it can be because wow, even just hearing you say that, it was so validating as well. Just like hearing that other people also feel that way. And sometimes it's so good to also be like, well, I love myself anyway, but I love myself anyway kind of thing, you know? And I've never really done EFT. I'm going to be honest, I didn't really understand it at first because I was like, maybe it's like the spiritual bypassing thing that some people do. Well, it's like, well, I don't want to affirm those things and say that I'm having a hard time with this because I don't want to make it so, but it's going to go on in your head anyway. So it's a way for you to acknowledge and release those emotions. And, you know, so just a quick question before we go is, well, actually two, because I actually thought of one that I've struggled with EFT before, but what was the one I was saying? Let me go with the other one because I totally forgot the other one. But when it hurts, like I've done it on my stomach, like the tapping, and it physically hurts. What does that mean? Because I've heard about it, but I'm not sure. Maybe there's energy that needs to be purged there, right? Is it something?
So I would say the tapping is very gentle. So sometimes it can be from tapping, thinking that if we tap harder, you know, that it's going to work better. It's not, it's just a very light tap, you know, so it doesn't have to be hard. And there's also specific points where we're tapping. So I don't tap on my stomach. I only tap on the sides of my ribs. So I would say maybe a combination of those. Don't tap too hard. You know, it's a very light tap. And then also make sure that you're following the basic tapping sequence. There are other tapping points. There are other meridian points. Even in advanced EFT, I've never heard of tapping directly onto the stomach. So I just couldn't advise about that. One to advise tapping right there. But
have you heard of Donna Eden?
Huh?
Have you heard of Donna Eden?
Donna Eden? No, I've never heard of her.
Okay, she does like this EFT stuff, but it's like she always talks about the meridians and tapping, and it's she has this book called like Energy Medicine or something. And I
Mm.
was doing one of her exercises where she taps on like really weird points. But one of
Yeah,
the
I
ones
do
that
see
hurt
some people
was
tap like this, or and they're tapping, it's the same point. They're tapping on
yeah.
this side
Okay, it's the
meridian, but
same
they're
thing.
tapping on both of them. So
Okay.
I typically, and once again, different, like you even said, different people tap different ways.
Yeah.
I will generally tap just with the tips of my fingers onto my side, just like this. Not
Perfect.
too hard, just very, very nice. But I've seen some people tap like this. I've seen all of that. So I would say tap in a way that makes you feel comfortable.
Hmm.
If you notice that there is pain, tap somewhere else.
Yeah.
Tap, if there's pain on this side, tap on this side. Or, if you're too far up and there's pain, tap a little bit lower, but you don't have to tap very, very hard, and kind of experiment around. You do want to tap in the area because that's where the actual meridian is. But once again, you can see that there are variations. I see some people who tap like this, or they tap
Yeah.
against something. So kind of work with it and kind of get your own, feel to it.
Yeah, because I haven't done it forever, but I remember doing it. And there was one where she was tapping on the abdomen. She mentioned like if you're ever in an area where it hurts or something, there's like emotional stuff that you have to work through or something. I'm kind of like the
Mm-hmm.
chakra points, and it was hurting on my abdomen, and that's kind of where
Mm-hmm.
self-worth is and self-love, which
Mm-hmm.
I've had a hard time with my entire life. I'm just now, in my mid-20s, like really embodying that. And so I didn't know if it was the same thing you were doing or not, but I did notice when I did do that tapping on my abdomen, it did hurt in that area that seemed to coincidentally be what I was emotionally
Mm-hmm.
working on. So I didn't know if there was a connection there, but I did remember the other thing I was going to say. So
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to owning these not negative thoughts, but kind of what we did at first, like I have been practicing lucid dreaming, or I feel this way about myself, or I'm angry about myself. Really, we say those because the energy's there anyway. So it's almost a way to
Mm-hmm.
purge that out, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah,
why.
and that's exactly what we're doing. So the
Cool.
first part, the cycle down, is so we can bring up the issue. Because if we're using EFT, typically we're using EFT for an issue. It doesn't have to just be dream work. It could be related, once again, to your health and fitness. It could be
Mm,
related to health. It could be related to physical pain. You can tap. You can use
okay.
EFT tapping for physical pain. So you're bringing it up because you're
Mm,
bringing those emotions and you're bringing that experience to the surface. And just humans, the way that our mind works, we do a lot of conceptualization, and that
yeah.
comes through in our speech. So when we're talking about it, it's getting that
Mm,
concept in the mind, and the body also has its own wisdom. Even like, if you've had a traumatic experience at a certain place, you can walk past that place and you feel it in the body. The body holds that memory. So that's why we're
mm,
tapping on the body, because we're getting the body to activate. Even in Tibetan Buddhism, one of the biggest receptacles of karma is the body. The body houses the karma. So
wow. Yeah.
we're bringing that up. And then once again, you're going to feel what Eugene Gendlin calls a felt sense or a felt shift. I kind of relate this to a aha moment or a eureka moment, this sensation in the body. So you have it on the positive and the negative end of the spectrum. So when you're
Mm,
speaking negatively and you say, I really hate where I am in my practice, and you feel that aha, then that lets you know, ooh, that's it. And so you're like, oh, that's it. Now I can reprogram. So I'm going to continue tapping, because when I'm tapping, I'm moving that energy through the meridians. But now, once again, I'm going to reprogram over that. So I begin with a little turnaround, but say, you know what? Even though I hate where I am, in my practice right now, this is letting me know that that's important to me. And you feel that shift in energy. And then now we're bringing that up. We're bringing it more and more positive. So eventually, if you're doing EFT, a series of EFT, you may tap on this certain issue for a few days. And there's a rating system too. I have an entire master class on EFT. But there's a rating system that you can use. Like if I felt a 1, if I felt, a 5 on this day, you know, maybe 5 or 4, you know, pretty bad. And I'm trying to work my way up to like a 10, you know, it's where I feel good. If that's the system that you're using, maybe for a few days you're at a 4 or a 5, and you move up to a 5 and a 6 and a 7 and an 8. Eventually, once you get so high, you don't need to go through as much of the cycle down process. And then you can use a different template sentence to even move yourself further in there. So in the beginning, yes, you are acknowledging and bringing up this negative thing, but as you begin to release and work through it, you can use other advanced practices of EFT, and you are no longer going to be in that place of, I hate where I am in my practice. It may be, you know, 2 weeks later, you're starting, you're tapping and you're saying, you know what, I'm feeling really good about my dream recall. That may be where you start your EFT. I'm feeling really good about my dream recall, but I want to move forward. So you can continue to use EFT. But in the beginning, maybe once again, you're having negative experiences or negative emotions or negative situations. So this may be where you're at, and you want to honor where you're at, you know? So that's why we use the cycle down.
Okay, thank you so much for explaining this to me, because I'm such a noob when it comes to this, but I love your explanations. I really saw how valuable this is, and as we were doing it, I was like, oh my gosh, like as we were tapping, I was like, I can totally see what Aaron's saying about this. So thank you so much for giving us that demonstration, because that's extremely powerful. Is that a masterclass you mentioned? Is that something that we can purchase? Like, do you have a link to purchase that EFT masterclass?
Yeah, I think I sent you the link for my Teachable School, HIYERAlignment.teachable.com. If you go on there, or anyone who's watching, if you go on there, you know, there's a section like view all courses. You can go through there and you can find the EFT masterclass. So all of my masterclasses always come with like, I'm not sure how many content hours on there. I think it's at least 5 hours on EFT. It breaks down the different meridian points, what specific organs they correspond to, why we're tapping, where we're tapping. I even go into advanced tapping points. I talk about how the different sections of the EFT, kind of like how I explained, you may start here, but 2 weeks later, you may no longer be in this place. So you can use a different template sentence. And then the EFT masterclass also comes with a fillable workbook. So it will give you self-exploration exercises, journaling prompts. It'll contain graphs of where you're tapping and why you're tapping, you know, all of the explanations. Typically, I don't know off the top of my head what's exactly in that workbook, but typically I try to include links to meditations and guided visualizations and external resources. So even you're able to kind of dive in deeper, but all of that information is there. On my Teachable School, the EFT Masterclass. It will definitely take you from beginning to end, and you will be good to go.
I'm signing up for that. Hope you guys sign up for that. I'll post all the links after. I'm for sure doing that, because I definitely want to learn more about that. So, and guys, Aaron is the real deal. Like, he is very, very thorough in his work. Like, he really puts so much love and energy into what he does. Like, even his workbooks, like the packages you get sent, oh my gosh, everything. So definitely check out his Teachable link, and then I'll of course link his shop as well, and that will be after this has already been live. So if you guys are seeing this on the replay, in the description and in the comments, you should see all of Aaron's links where you can go check out all of the amazing things that he's doing. And Aaron, I just want to say thank you so much for being here. I love you. You're one of my favorite people on the entire planet, and I recommend literally everybody to you. You are the best, and I really appreciate you coming on today. And we'll definitely have to have you on again when you can go. I know you just started your channel as well, your YouTube channel. We'll have to go live on there sometime when you can.
Yes, please.
And we'll have to figure out some classes or workshops we can do together, because you're a very magical being, and I definitely want to work with you more in some capacity, even though we're already working together on a couple of things. But is there any last words you would like to give my audience before we close out?
Well, I just want to say thank you, everybody, for showing up. I mean, I know I've been following you, Haylee, for a while, and I've been following your journey. And I know that, you know, you've had to take a break because of the passing of your grandmother. So I send out my love and my light to you. And you know, you are a major inspiration for me. Like, I literally go on your channel and binge watch your videos all the time. Like, one of my favorite series is Haylee's Lucidity School. Like, episode 3, I've probably watched it a million times. Like, I'll just put it on before I go to bed. Because even just listening to that or watch it helps me have lucid dreams. Like, it really does.
Oh my gosh.
So I have to say thank you to you, and for everyone who has watched this. I know you are probably have been waiting for Miss Haylee to come join us for quite a while. So thank you for being here with us both. And thank you, Haylee, for jumping back in there and for doing what you do. You make a world of difference in my life. And like I said, I've been in your Facebook group, and I know that you are changing the lives of so many people. So thank you, and thank everyone who has come here and interacted with us this evening.
My face has never hurt so bad. Like, I've been smiling this whole time. Like, my face hurts so bad. Thank you so much, Erin. And because you brought up Haylee's Lucidity School, I will be starting my podcast soon, Lucidity and Beyond, and I would love to have you on there when I start that.
Yay!
So,
I would love that.
Yay! Well, we'll talk about all the details of all the things we're going to be doing, because guys, you will be seeing him and I together again for sure. Thank you guys so much for joining. I have loved going live and seeing you guys again today. I definitely want to try to start going live before January, but that is the absolute latest. I will try to go live this upcoming Monday, but I'll just let you guys know where I'm at. I'm of course still moving through things physically in my apartment. I'm literally tearing everything out and starting anew, and emotionally. So I'll let you guys know where we are at with that. But again, thank you so much, Erin. I know I don't want to take up any more of your time because you've been with me for 2 hours, but I love you and thank you so much for being in my world, and we will definitely touch base and get together soon. So thank you guys all for being here with us. I hope you all have an amazing night. And as always, I'm sending you all love and lucidity. So thanks again, Erin, for being here.